I'll start with the Real Madrid player because this is a really fascinating one for me. The first player is Carlos Espi, who's a centre forward. He's 21. He's 6'4", and he joins from Levante, who joined from for 25 million euros. Now, Ewan, Real Madrid have spent 220 million euros on new players this summer, and that doesn't even include the fact that they picked up Ibrahima Konate for free and Bernardo Silva for free. So it's been a procession of remarkable stars joining over the summer. Understandably, SB has kind of flown in under the radar. But what made him catch your eye, and what makes you think he's going to do so well this season for Real Madrid?
It's really interesting because you kind of spoke to me this morning about selecting players for this list, and naturally you want to look at the two biggest clubs in Spain. You know, it's a duopoly. They're so much bigger than the other clubs. Sorry to any Atleti fans who are watching, but Real Madrid have actually sold a lot of their academy graduates. This summer, you're thinking of Nico Paz is staying at Como. Two younger boys went to Fulham. Obviously, Gonzalo Garcia, the biggest one for around 40 million euros, I believe. In total, they've raked in around just under 200 million euros from players that have been at their academy. You've got to kind of bring that into the fact that Jose Mourinho is now the manager. He's not exactly renowned for giving young players a chance. So their squad is full of household names, established stars. I mentioned the players they brought in there. They've added a lot of experience to the group. They've also added Yan Diamonde. How can we forget about him, who's an exceptional young talent? So it was difficult to maybe look at an academy player to see to break into the first team, as we have done with Barcelona, as we'll talk about later. Espi stood out. I mean, he scored 11 goals in his debut La Liga season in 25 games, but when you look at actually numbers a little bit closer, that was only 13 starts, which is hugely impressive for a player in his first season in a top league. And his market value rose by 17.5 million to its current valuation of 20 million across the course of his spell at Levante last season. So you've already seen this traction of a player who's on the rise, and he's moved to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's had a good pre-season. He scored against Ferencváros. He scored at the weekend there against Schalke. I am sad enough to watch pre-season games of teams outside the UK, unfortunately, and I've been really impressed by him. I'm interested to see what happens with him this season, because you have Kylian Mbappé, who's undoubtedly Real Madrid's star striker. He's going to play up front. You'll have, in their strongest team, you'll have Diamonde on the right-hand side, and you'll have Vinicius on the left. But you then have two younger strikers, in Espi and Endrick, who I think will be challenging for minutes. In Madrid this season, they're going to play a lot of competitions. I'm also fascinated around kind of what PSG have done in League One, in terms of they rest a lot of their stars domestically, so they're prepared for the Champions League. It's a little bit more difficult in Spain because you do have two teams who can generally win the league, whereas in League One, it's realistically PSG's title every season. So I think that Mourinho might rotate his strikers a little bit more in the Liga, maybe save Mbappe a little bit more for the Champions League. And SB, is already shown that he can score goals at the level. If he can score goals at Levante, he's going to score goals at Real Madrid.
What fascinates me about Mune, and I did mention this when I introduced him for a reason, is the fact that he is 6'4", and no one's going to expect this kid to kind of be knocking Mbappe out the first team anytime soon. And admittedly, he's up against a remarkable young talent in Endrick, although there is speculation that he could move on loan due to the fact that he's not been promised first team football. But even if Endrick stays, SB is such a different tool to both of those strikers, isn't he? And you can really foresee a situation, particularly under Jose Mourinho, where if Real Madrid are chasing a goal, he's going to be the first person he turns to on the bench this season, isn't he?
I think he will be. And it's a great point you mentioned about Mourinho and what he likes from his strikers. You've seen that across his time at Chelsea when he had Drogba, Diego Costa, obviously famously at Real Madrid he had Ronaldo, Benzema. He's had those sort of players. And I think he fits. I think he fits the bill. You know, if teams are camped deep, you know, protecting a lead or protecting a draw, then Espi gives you something different from what Real Madrid have. If you're putting balls in the box, he's the kind of guy you maybe want to be in there. You know, he's 6'4", but he's a big unit. His physicality really stands out. Another interesting fact for me is I look at it, and he's also Spanish. You know, Spain have had so much success internationally, you know, across the last decade, World Cup holders, but the one thing you always say about them is they've not had a traditional number 9. Could he be the guy? I'm interested to see. I think he has the potential to be that. And I'm really interested to see how he develops across the course of the season. His numbers were really good at Levante. No disrespect to Levante, but you know, he's going to get a lot more chances when he plays for Real Madrid because he's going to be dominant. Um, I think it's going to be a really shrewd signing. And obviously, we talked about market value there, Stefan, and you know, the future you're doing here is looking at players who you think will rise in market values. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't end the season with at least another 10 million euros on his market value.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's currently on 20 million euros ahead of the Liga market value update, which won't be long, far away. But as you said, even over and above the fact that he moved to the club for 25 million euros, it seems as though he's going to be a very useful player for Real Madrid and even Spain, perhaps, in the years to come.